In this video, we will be overviewing receiving payments. We will be covering applying full payments to invoices, applying partial payments to invoices, receiving payments in advance, and finally, applying credits to invoices. To begin receiving payments, we go to the accounting entry and select Payments. From here, we select Add at the very top and select Customer Payment. By default, our system selects the AR account, accounts receivable. Should you be running a multi-currency system and would like to receive a payment for a different currency other than your home currency, you would select which accounts receivable. Next, we select the customer from the drop-down list. And once we select the customer, we get the list of all the outstanding invoices in the bottom window. Let's assume we're going to receive a payment and apply it to an invoice in full. First, we select the invoice in which we would like to apply the payment against by placing a check mark next to Paid. As you can see, the system tells us the original amount is $1,660.45, and the amount we're paying is $1,660.45. We enter in the amount received, $1,660.45, and the check number, for example, check number 654. When we select OK, the system gives us a payment receipt, in which we can provide to our customer if we'd like. As you can see at the bottom, it tells our customer they still have an outstanding balance with us for the other invoices. Now, the payments that are received are deposited into an account called undeposited funds. We will cover how to make deposits in a separate video called Making Deposits. Next, let's cover applying a partial payment to an invoice. We select Add again from the drop-down list and select Customer Payment. We select the customer again, and now we select an invoice in which we would like to apply a partial payment to. Let's assume we're going to apply a partial payment to the first invoice. We select the invoice by placing a check mark next to it. The system assumes that we're going to pay the invoice in full. Let's assume we're only going to apply $700 to this invoice. We select the amount paid, and we enter in the amount we're partially paying. Again, we enter in the amount received, $700, and the check number. Next, we select OK. And the system tells us that for invoice number 1, the original amount is $1,589, amount due is $889, the amount paid was $700. At the bottom, again, we get a total of the outstanding balance for this customer. So as you can see, applying full or partial payments to invoices can be done easily using the Magaya cargo system. Next, let's overview how to receive a payment in advance. We go to Add, Customer Payment. We select the customer, for example, Christian Reiser. And let's assume he's paying us $1,000 in advance for a future shipment. We select OK, and the system is warning us, you have not applied all available payments to unpaid invoices for this customer. Do you want to accept this payment anyway and generate a credit for the amount of US $1,000 for this customer? We select Yes, and the system has generated a credit for us for this customer. As you can see, it says amount paid $1,000, but it has not been applied to any invoices. To apply that credit, we select Add, Customer Payment. Next, we select the customer. As you can see, we have a payment in the same invoice list of $1,000. let's assume we're going to apply that payment in full to an existing invoice of $889 that's pending to pay, and the rest, we still have $111 left over, where we can select OK to leave it as a credit, or we can apply it partially to one of the invoices. So we'll select this invoice here, and we'll tell the system we're only going to apply $111 to that invoice. To complete this transaction, we select OK, and the system gives us a breakdown of what we just did. As you can see, applying full payments to invoices, partial payments to invoices, and receiving payments in advance to later apply to invoices can be done easily using the Magaya cargo system. In these examples, I assumed that all payments made or received were done using a check. If I edit this current payment, you can see we have the memo field here. That can be used for payments that are not received by check, for example by cash. You can apply a memo paid cash in advance for shipment to be done next month, or a wire transfer and the wire transfer reference. So you have the flexibility of applying other types of payments. This concludes our video on receiving payments.